good morning. Still morning for a few more minutes. Good morning, everyone. Kevin Crouch here with South Metro Weather. And yeah, I want to bring a quick update on the storms that we are watching here. And you can see this line. And if you saw the update I posted a few minutes ago, you would know that we've been watching this line, and it kind of lost its intensity over Johnson and Hill counties here. It caught up to a line that was ahead of it, kind of recycled, and then just as I expected, now we are seeing this intensify really over Ellis County here. The southern part of the line from about Milford on down to Waco, not as intense here, but you can see those darker colors across Ellis County. So let's take the opportunity to, let me bring my cart around here, kind of get everything working if I can. We've already had a power issue here, but the good news is that the backup power that we have set up now actually held. So that definitely helps. And I'm hearing that the volume is a little low, but we should have been able to fix that. And I see that a couple of things are not working, but fortunately that should be. Let's see here. Okay, there we go. Now I think we're back. So I had this set for temporary videos, not live videos, so I had to make that adjustment here. Yeah, so volume should be pretty normal here. In fact, if anything, I think I need to make a quick adjustment to a filter here. The thing is that, you know, we were dealing with an issue for a while where the mouse is not working anymore. We were dealing with an issue where the volume was too low, and then now I'm trying to kind of find that equilibrium there to where I'm not clipping too much, but you can hear me. So yeah, this line bringing pretty heavy rain, and in fact, if you'll give me just a moment here, I'm going to open the blinds to open the windows where I can see everything. We have winds picking up across the area here. Of course, the wind will pick up tonight especially. We have wind advisories going into effect. If you're west of our area from Meridian to Glen Rose and Granbury to Weatherford on to the west there, for those folks, it goes into effect at noon. For everyone else along and east of I-35, the wind advisories start at, I believe it's, what is it, 7 tonight? Seems a little late, but 7 tonight, and then all of us, both areas expire at 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. So these winds, and I heard from Matt, our moderator over in Midlothian, that these storms hit pretty hard. And what you're getting is not only is it heavy rain, it's wind-driven rain. So you're going to get a pretty noticeable, rain here, sideways rain, wind-driven rain. And what I'll tell you is that what I've been thinking about a lot this morning is Synergy Roofing. I got to give them a plug because if you have some roofing issues, or you have maybe some loose, man, I can't think of words today. You have some loose shingles on your roof, it might be time to give them a call if you notice that after the next couple of days. Really, it's going to stay windy most of the week. So if you have roof issues, man, that's gonna really definitely be a further problem for you. So you want to make sure you give them a call. And if you're just tired of your house altogether, I got Jimmy Porch over here. You can help us find you a new one. But with all of that said, and also I have to throw out a plug to PuroClean and really all the other sponsors that we have. So it's just, we got tons of sponsors that do a lot for you, and they're great. So make sure that if you haven't, go check out the cover photo, because not only are these sponsors that help us run, they're companies I know. So if you're looking for a company that you can trust in a different industry, hit them up. Let me know what experiences you have. So Candace over in Forreston getting this now, and that makes sense. Yeah, you're getting some of the heaviest stuff here. Let's actually zoom in a little bit and take a closer look at this. Looks like the heaviest stuff, yeah, right in the Forreston area, moving towards really north of Italy, south of Waxahachie here. There could be some small hail in this. I don't really expect a lot of hail out of this. I've been saying that for most of the day, but there could be some small hail here and there. Now, I've also been, my attention has been brought to a few spots where it looked like, if you're watching velocity which most of you may not be watching that. You're probably just paying attention to where the rain is. But if you're watching velocity, we've had a couple of spots where you're seeing a little bit of a kink in the line there or something, a little curve in the line. No rotation or anything expected today. That shouldn't be a problem. Rain is starting here at the studio, and just so far today, we have 0.08 of an inch, just a little bit. We've had these spotty showers come through, but I'm curious to see how much rain we get after this line moves through, because it is packed with rain. It's wind-driven rain, so in all perfect honesty, we may not get very accurate numbers with this, because you have those, you have a vertical rain gauge. Well, rain's coming in sideways, so we may not have the most accurate number on how much rain we get across our area. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, getting a comment here that it's bad on 287 coming from Midlothian. Yeah, that makes sense. That definitely makes sense there. And if you're out driving in this, if you're on the roads at all, and this is right on top of 35 north of Waxahachie and really all the way down. So if you're in this and you're hearing my voice and you're driving, don't be bashful, pull over, okay? I would love to see everyone pulling over right now, because this is a pretty dangerous situation to get stuck in if you are on the road. Now I'm getting a report over in 7 Points. Got 2 inches of rain already. So 7 Points, that's the eastern part of the county over here, where you've had some of these heavier showers passing through this morning. So if you're over in the 7 Points area, you've probably had multiple heavy showers pull through, and yeah, it's possible to get a pretty decent amount of rain there. So that's probably what you're looking at in that corridor. For most of us, though, we're not seeing that. Saddle Tramp over on YouTube, special weather statement isn't on your map. No, it's not. I don't tend to show those, because those are about a dime a dozen. You see a lot of those, but essentially that special weather statement is going to communicate that, yeah, we could be seeing wind gusts of 30, 40, possibly up to 50 miles per hour. And we could see 50 mile per hour gusts overnight just with the system that's coming through. But I wanted to make sure that we at least covered this live. I know there's teachers that are trying to decide in some places, you know, whether to send the kids out to recess or not. That's a big no. Go ahead and keep them inside in parts of Ellis County. The heavier rain picking up now at the studio. And yeah, this is definitely a stay inside kind of deal. And if you're looking at getting lunch out somewhere, I made the mistake of asking my wife to get some lunch. I thought she would beat it. I don't, let me see. I'm not sure if she's made it back yet. I thought she would make it back before this arrived. So there might be a little bit of an irritated Terry throwing some food in here in a moment. So if that happens, I'll be all right. So that's just kind of where we stand right now. And yeah, I'm looking out the window right now here at the studio. Yeah, we're looking at a pretty good downpour of slanted rain here. And again, the heaviest stuff is south of Waxahachie, north of Italy. This will continue to move eastward. It's moving at a pretty good clip now. It kind of took its time before this, but yeah, so look at this. This is interesting here, moving right towards Bardwell. Not only do we have heavier rain there, starting to bow out a little bit. So that's really going to be the concern here. Wind is going to be the main issue with these storms. There's nothing severe. We don't have any severe warnings at this time. We also have from Corsicana through Oak Valley on down towards Dawson, this thin line of rain ahead of this line. This is not the heaviest stuff you're going to get. This will continue, and this will affect all of us. And then once this line moves through, we may have some rain on the backside of this. You see over in Johnson County, there's some rain on the back end. But we could very well... And there's the thunder. So yeah, lightning and thunder increasing with this as well. So these are going to be a little bit of a noisemaker. Maybe the power will dip live here and I can show off our resilience here at South Metro Weather. I probably just jinxed it now. It's probably going to break something now. Just watch that. So let me go back. There's a lot of comments coming in now, so I want to make sure. Yeah, so Terry commenting she's in the line at Whataburger. I am so sorry. Just to just to throw that out there if you're getting soaked right now, and don't hurt me. So that's all that's there. And I'm sure Jensen, the baby, I'm sure he's probably enjoying watching the rain from the car there too. So, there's a little bit of a positive there. I'm trying to keep up with these comments. I mean, we got a lot of folks in the conversation here. I love that. What I'll ask you to do is go ahead and share the stream too. I'm supposed to ask you that at the top. I'm terrible at that. Go ahead and share the stream too, and let folks know that this is going on. As this continues towards 45 in Ennis, I do feel like we will probably still see this line intensifying. As it gets east of our area, over towards the Tyler area, Palestine, Jacksonville, towards our eastern areas here, I do think we could see an even stronger line, could start to see severe weather become more likely there. We are, of course, under a marginal risk of severe weather. It really hasn't panned out at this time. But yeah, we do have some stronger storms in this line here. It's a fairly thin line. And as I mentioned, it has been picking up speed a little bit. Let's take a look at this looped here. If it'll do it, maybe not. Okay, yeah. So it's definitely picking up steam, picking up speed here. That's going to help this thing move through. We're not really too concerned about flooding. There may be some brief flooding in those areas where the heaviest rain is falling. I mean, there's pretty big raindrops. So I'm looking at the street in front of me right now. Pretty good drainage down the street there. So we're going to have a lot of rain in a short amount of time. But the good news is it won't be as persistent here. So that's just a quick benefit there as well. And on the power outages, I also need to mention too, and I don't think I've mentioned them much, but I do want to say there's been a lot of conversation about ERCOT's recent, the finding, I guess, that they're not responsible for any power outages, that sort of thing. And I won't get on the whole tangent about that, but I will tell you that Energy Renovation Center has been stepped on as a sponsor recently. They do solar power that can be an independent power source, and they've really been promoting that. What I want to do eventually is bring a sponsor spotlight to and actually talk about that, because not only was that something that I was interested in, because here I kind of have to have my own power source sometimes, but as we get into these colder months, we do have these colder pushes of Arctic air coming in. Yeah, people are going to start thinking about that. So stay tuned for that as well, and go check them out too while you're stuck inside, not really able to do much with all this rain. So let me get caught up on some comments here. Yeah, thank you, Matt, for plugging the Cash App and the Venmo and all that good stuff. All that stuff helps too. I did get, where's my phone? I did get some off-air donations that I want to thank folks for while I'm up here and while things are not too terribly crazy. Let me see if I can find those. Okay, so Don Minix, thank you so much for your donation. Angie Heck, thank you for yours. And Kayla, thank you for your donation to the Venmo. Those were yesterday off the air, but I try to do an on-air thank you, right? Make sure that you're watching and that we know, that we appreciate that. And yeah, rolled through 5 points. And so, yeah, getting reports of lighter rain. Did get some reports of, just before jumping on the air here, just happened to catch a report of hail over in Stephenville as well. So there has been a history of hail with this line, but I haven't heard any reports of serious hail. Nothing that's too terribly intense or causing problems. So that's the good news is, yeah, these storms are making a statement. They are letting you know they are here. The rain is coming fast and furious. But the positive is that we don't have any severe weather right now. No severe warnings. As was mentioned in the comments earlier, we do have the special weather statements that are along parts of this line, but that does not necessarily mean severe weather. And Brittany saying wind was just about the worst you've seen in frost. So yeah, northern Navarro County, southern Ellis County, strong winds there as well. And yeah, not really seeing too much in terms of other forms of severe weather. And your severe, limit for the criteria for a severe thunderstorm is 58 miles per hour, 58 plus. We could get up to 50 here in some spots, but the good news is that should be the max. I don't think that we get closer to 60. 60 miles per hour is pretty much when you start seeing damage, but we shouldn't get to that point. And Estrella Gonzalez, thank you so much for your Cash App donation there. Thank you so much. That is always appreciated. And Toby Gonzalez asking, is this the worst of it today? And there will not be more storms coming. This will be it for today. And we're done for most of the week. We will warm up and then we drop down closer to the end of the week, and we can talk about that here in a moment. And okay, so let's see. The Old Queen Theater Vendor Mall in Ferris, a storm moving fast through Lancaster. Yeah, so that's where the line is now, getting closer to really moving into the I-45 corridor here. So again, they're moving quickly. It comes in, it hits fast, and then it's gone, and then you're done. But that's kind of what we're seeing here. And yeah, this morning I kept having to adjust the timeline of when it was going to move into western Johnson and Hill counties because it was just kind of taking its time. But now that everything has gotten reorganized, you see one serious line here. We still have some of this advanced activity over in Navarro County. It will be interesting to see if this creates a longer line that possibly refreshes this one. A lot of the time with these lines, when you see these storm systems that go through multiple states, what you have is the old line will die out and a new line develops and kind of recycles that. Sometimes it happens so simultaneously that it's hard to really see it happening. In this case, it's been pretty clear here. So this could be the next line kind of forming here. This one will die out and the new line will take over and so on and so forth, and it continues on to the east. So that's what we've been seeing. James, you're asking what will be the warmest day this week? Well, the warmest day this week is undoubtedly at this point going to be looking at probably Thursday, really. And we tend to warm up ahead of these new systems that are coming through. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that Thursday will probably be the warmest day we'll have. And then Thursday night, Friday morning, that's when the cold air moves in. And I don't have a 7-day forecast out yet because I want to review some models. Haven't had a chance to really dig into that yet. But the 7-day forecast will be coming later today once I have a chance to stop and check that out too. Got somebody watching from North Georgia there. Not helping you out much there in Georgia, but I appreciate the viewing. And so a word of a quick, brief power outage through Hillsboro. Lasted about 20 minutes there and then lost power for a few minutes. And then rain, it looks like they received 0.2 of an inch on the Tempest there in Hillsboro. So thank you so much for that report there. Randall Allen, you have a Tempest. If you want to send me a message, I don't know if you have considered connecting that to Radar Omega. I believe that's something you can do, but that would be something that we could reference here at South Metro Weather as well. So if you've thought about doing that or if you have done that, let me know and I'd be happy to kind of figure that out as well. Yeah, North Georgia, you get the Texas weather after. So yeah, you'll get this system. And if you're in northern Georgia, I think you're going to be away from most of the severe weather tomorrow, but getting closer to southern Georgia, the Florida Panhandle, pretty decent chances of severe weather tomorrow. So you'll want to be paying attention to that if you're in that area. Strong winds and heavy rain in Bardwell. And Christina saying the storm will let her know if how well the trampoline's anchors work. Ain't that the truth? And that's very, very important to have those. Flickering power outside in Italy, but no loss so far. Yeah, the winds pretty easily can interfere with these power lines, especially these above ground lines, especially the lines that have been there a while. The winds and everything can really throw everything off. So just keep that in mind too. So let's see. It's modulated for some reason. Okay, so 0.25 of an inch, about 1/4 of an inch over in Ennis so far per Gary. Thank you so much for that report. Lights flickering with high winds and very heavy rain in Palmer. So yeah, let's zoom back in on Ellis County here, Ellis and Navarro. That's pretty much where the heaviest stuff is. You have some heavy rain through Mount Calm and Hubbard here, but the strongest part of this is moving right towards Ennis right now. So if you're in Ennis, be prepared for strong winds and very heavy rain as this moves through. If you're on I-45 If you're driving on 45 listening to my voice right now, just be prepared for that if you need to pull over, especially if you're in a truck or a box truck, or, a 18-wheeler, something with a broadside on a large vehicle. You want to be careful and maybe try to pull over and kind of wait this thing out. But do me one favor, do not pull under an overpass. That is never a good idea. That can impede emergency response because wrecks happen in this stuff all the time. They need to be able to get around and do their important work. So pull over, take a break, but do not stop under an overpass because that's just going to cause new issues. Michelle Garnett, you're at the ER in Midlothian, and the wind was crazy. You could hear it in the room. Can see anything, so thanks for the broadcast. Well, I'm glad I could bring information to you, and if you're not well in the ER, if you're there for yourself, please hope you get better soon. I've got a good friend that was in the ER last night, and he's dealing with some illness right now, so hoping he's better very soon too. Chelsea, you're asking if there's any chance of tornadoes. We're really not looking at getting ahead of myself in comments. We're not looking at a tornado threat today. I know I've said that before, and lo and behold, it happened, but the good news is this is the only round of storms today, not looking at any kind of tornado threat today. Just not a situation that really supports that. Now, heard a report, Michelle, are you in Methodist Midlothian? I'm curious about that. Hail core for Ennis, I'm not too sure if that's necessarily a hail core. I don't think I would call it that. There could be some hail there, but it's not an organized hail core the way that we would usually see it in that area. So, and Michelle is in Methodist Midlothian, another sponsor of ours. I've had great care from Methodist, the Methodist system, really, Methodist Midlothian and in Mansfield. I went there for a heart issue I had back in, back in the spring, I think, and they took very, very good care of me. Rain just started in Garrett, so yeah, it's intensifying there as well. So really a long I-45 from Ennis on up through Ferris. Pretty heavy rain there, but the strongest is headed into Ennis. And we just had someone ask if that was a hail core. It doesn't strike me as a hail core necessarily, but there could be some small hail there. It's not the hail core that's going to bring, golf ball sized hail or anything. Pretty small, maybe pea-sized hail, if any at all. This is not really much of a hail situation at this point. So let me make sure, man, the comments are coming fast and furious. I'm just trying to keep up with you. And I've got to pay attention to the phone here too. I think we're caught up on Venmo and Cash App donations and all that good stuff. So I think we're set there. And main issue right now, like I say, is the winds and the very strong winds, heavy rain, and possibly very small hail moving into the Ennis area right now. So just be paying attention to that. It looks like the rain has already wrapped up for the most part here at the studio. And yeah, this is kind of a hit and run deal. It comes in, it rains on you, it's out of there. You're getting some of the rain on the backside of this in Midlothian over towards Venus and Mansfield. Going to be moving over into Ovilla and Oakleaf too. So there is some rain behind all of this. And if we take a wider view here, you can see that, yeah, this is already moving out of Dallas there. Some more steady rain from Irving to Flower Mound up towards McKinney and closer to the Red River there. And then the main line just moved out of Waco, moving towards Marlin through Temple right now. And yeah, Navarro County, you have this other kind of line of rain here. Don't think there's really much to that. But, and then further off to the west, there's little pockets of light rain. I'm skeptical of whether this is really reaching the ground here. So I'm skeptical of that because behind this is where you start getting into the drier air. So we're also farther away from the radar, so not sure what all that is. And Danny, you're asking about the weather the next couple of days. Well, tonight we will be dropping into the low 30s. Tomorrow will be cool and windy. So really tomorrow, man, that's going to be your, if you don't like windy, cold days, tomorrow is not your day. 20, 25, 30 mile per hour wind gusts tomorrow. Temperatures probably not getting out of the 40s for at least most of us. Then tomorrow night, Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, looks like we could have a light freeze across the area. And then Wednesday and Thursday, we warm up into the 60s. So we're actually going to be warming up here. And then Friday morning, that's when we drop. And we've been watching this intrusion of Arctic air that is not quite as intense as what models were showing 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, all the doom and gloom that was going around. Not really that intense. But I will say that it will be cold. Friday, looks like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we're probably in the mid to upper 40s. We could crack 50 in a few places Saturday and Sunday, but the overnights were in the 20s for at least a couple of nights. So it's nothing we haven't had before, nothing we can't handle, but it's the coldest temperatures we've had so far. What we will be watching very closely is what comes in Monday or Tuesday time range. Could be another push of cold air, and that could be a deeper push. We're waiting to see if the models are going to kind of moderate and peel back some of the intensity on that, just the way they did with Friday's front. So we'll keep you updated on that. But for now, this is what we're dealing with, and this is really going to be it as far as storms. We could have some rain Thursday night, Friday morning as that front comes through. But right now, it does not look like we will have any kind of wintry precipitation or travel impacts or anything like that on Friday. It may depend on how much moisture we have around when the cold air gets here on Thursday. But realistically speaking, it doesn't look like we'll have any of that. It looks like the cold air will dry out any moisture we have before we drop down to freezing. And yeah, then we could see, temperatures capable of freezing anything, but there probably won't be anything to freeze. So, I'm hearing the kiddo is home. He's probably yelling for his lunch right now. So who can blame him, right? So, this is what we have. This is going to be it for today. And but we do have that line that has intensified. And let me kind of broaden this out a little bit more for you. Pretty nice looking line. And as we discussed, we still have these storms out ahead of all of this. And we had some of those earlier this morning, and this Gulf moisture continues to just pump in and be greeted by some of this lift brought in by this system. But this line will continue on to the east, become more organized as it progresses. I won't be surprised again if we see what we saw over Johnson County, where it meets another line, kind of recycles, and then intensifies again. And yeah, farther south from College Station to Huntsville, over towards Jasper there, and Lufkin over into really looking closer to Louisiana there, yeah, they've got a higher chance of severe weather down there, especially along the coast. So they will be watching that there. Fortunately, though, hey, this is all we've got for today.
Well, now that's some big old fat rain.
Oh yeah, the references to Forrest Gump have been made several times.
I love it. I'm here for it.
If anybody doesn't know my wife yet, this is Terry. She's and you've already got folks asking you to do another forecast. So
I will at some point.
I guess if we get low on views, we'll bring you in because
y'all can read.
I mean, her forecast gets more attention than mine does, and I started this whole thing. So if we ever get desperate, she's taking over. That might get interesting as far as severe weather is concerned, but we'll see how that goes. And yeah, she's brought my lunch, so I deeply appreciate that. And Morgan, I guess that means riding your horse is out of the question. So we have rain today. If the horse doesn't mind some strong winds, then yeah, it might be able to do that later today. But hey, gusty winds, and it's not going to be that terribly warm today. This afternoon, I think we could get into the 60s in most places. We could get into the mid-60s as we are looking west, really where we recover from the rain and get the clouds out of the way. Then we could, be looking at some warmer temperatures. But it looks like low 60s for most of us this afternoon. So Clint, you're asking, is it going to snow on Monday or wintry mix? So right now, it doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like we have any kind of wintry precipitation, but someone else asked me the same question. I'm sure the apps are showing all kinds of funny stuff, and I promised I was going to knock off being so hard on the other people that run weather pages, but I'll rag on these apps all the time. The apps are showing you an automated forecast run by AI taking a guess. Human beings have hard times forecasting wintry precipitation when it comes to these storms that are coming through, but it's too early to tell. But at this moment, if the models hold exactly what they're showing right now, it looks like it's the same situation with Friday. Any moisture will be out of here by the time we get cold enough for snow, so it doesn't look like we will see snow or wintry mix at that point. And will the cold snap kill all the flies? Asking for a friend. I'm not a bug guy. You would have to ask Ellis County Pest Services about that. But I will say that these cold snaps definitely need to do something about the mosquitoes, because we didn't get a whole lot of help on that last winter. So let's knock down the mosquito problem at least a little bit. Do us that favor. And welcome winter. I'll take the rainy, cool weather. This summer was brutal. It absolutely was. And something on that is we are, of course, in an El Nino pattern here, and typically that means a cooler, wetter pattern, and we've seen that. This is part of that, this system that we're watching right now, because we've had rain every few days because the jet stream dropped lower to us, and now we have all these storms that are riding it right through our area. But the thing is, the National Weather Service found that after a record hot summer, we tend to have more mild winters. So this is kind of a battle to see which was going to win. November was below normal much of the month, not very cold, but just below normal there. And December actually looked pretty mild. So we'll see what January, February look like. January so far looking pretty cold with these pushes of really what it comes down to is the distortions in the polar vortex allowing some of that colder air to come in, and then we have the disturbances, these low pressure systems that will actually pull that air down. So it's really a combination of two things. People give credit to the polar vortex for bringing the cold air in. Really, the polar vortex it's a static thing at the poles. It's not something that is always there. It is something that's always there, I should say. It's not something that just moves in, right? It's something that stays there, and then distortions in the polar vortex allow for that Arctic air to get pulled down to our area, which is what's going to happen as we have a low pressure system. And low pressure systems, they turn their vortexes, their vortices. That means they turn counterclockwise. So when you get on the back side of it, of course, on this side, you can see that it's pulling all this Gulf moisture in. So we're on this side of it. When you get on the other side of the low, it's pulling from the north. So that's what pulls those Arctic pushes of air down. That's what's going to happen. But as I say, the backside is the dry side, and looks like all the moisture will be out of here by the time the really cold temperatures get here. So not looking very likely for any kind of wintry precipitation with at least Friday or the Monday system. We'll have to watch, though. We're far enough away that could change. I mean, again, I've seen winter events change overnight. No kidding. And in fact, they seem to usually do that. So just keep that in mind, too. And we just passed noon, so I want to make sure you understand here, and I want to touch on this one more time, and maybe we can get this to, maybe I can get this to come up here. I was having some issues with it before, but I would like to show you, see if it'll cooperate with me here. Sometimes these non-precipitation watches. Yeah, okay. So we have all of the wind advisories here. Now I want to check this and see if this has changed. Matt, if you could do me a favor and go to the National Weather Service on, well, actually, I've got it right here. Should have it right here. What I want to know is if the wind advisory has already gone into effect for Ellis County and for the I-35 corridor, because it was not expected to go into effect until 7 this evening, but it looks like it is already in effect. So per the National Weather Service website, unless they haven't adjusted something, yeah, it looks like all of us are now under this wind advisory. And that's what you're seeing in this sand color here. All of us in that wind advisory, and the wording of that advises of 20 to 30 mile per hour winds with gusts up to 50 miles per hour in this area. If you don't want your lawn chairs and your other items outside to become the issue in the possession then of, I'm not talking about your neighbors, I'm talking about the next town over, then you might want to bring them in. So very, very strong winds headed our way. So that's what you're looking forward to behind the system. Let's get back to what we have going on currently. Get that radar plugged back on there. And if you're asking, Radar Omega is the program that we are using for this. Hang on to your hats. Yes, absolutely there. And so we have this line that's going through, looks like the heaviest of this will pass just north of Corsicana, going through Rice right now, going to be going through Bristol, that area towards Rosser. So yeah, far east Ellis County, northern Navarro County, still heavy rain from Mount Calm, Coolidge up through Dawson and moving towards Corsicana here, but the strongest of this is definitely focused in, again, Rice, Alma, on up to Tellico, Bristol, some of those kind of rural counties, communities in that area. So that's what we're watching. Again, this is it as far as storms are concerned for today. After this, we just have to deal with the winds, the crazy, crazy winds. And again, I will plug Synergy Roofing because, I mean, we're going to be looking at situations where we're going to be seeing limbs coming down. That's Liberty Tree Service as well. Go make sure you get their contact information because we're in the wintertime. These trees have dried out, and some of these trees have died since then, and they're not maybe at their strongest. Liberty Tree Service will be able to get those limbs collected for you, and it's going to stay pretty breezy, pretty windy for the rest of the week. So if you are in a situation where, hey, you need to get rid of some limbs here, call Liberty Tree Service, see if they can come out and help you out. And then if and when those cause shingle issues as well, that's Synergy Roofing. And then if you have an insurance claim there, Synergy can do certain things to help guide through that as well. But other insurance questions, hey, you've got Andrea up in Red Oak too with State Farm. So several sponsors that we work with here. And one of the things that I try to do is with the sponsors that we do work with, I try to get with folks who will benefit everyone through all of this. And we've already had someone say they were from Methodist, and we're getting closer to this Arctic air coming in. Contact Bahama Plumbing too. If you're not sure about your plumbing and you think you might be concerned about some pipe issues, fortunately this is not, neither of these events on Friday or Monday are looking like what we had back in 2021. However, you might be in a situation where you're not sure about your spigots, your pipes, your drains, those kind of things. Give Bahama Plumbing a call, and I'm sure they can check with you on that as well. And a report of 21-mile-per-hour winds in Alma. Yeah, thank you so much for that report there. And super dark and super windy in Oak Valley. Yep, absolutely, with those storms coming in. And so the other thing coming up too, and I just want to give just a quick plug on this, just a quick plug, and it's kind of a personal plug, but also something exciting too. We're also watching for the solar eclipse, April 8th. That's my birthday, so I get a whole eclipse for my birthday here. It's all about me, I guess. But Rail Yard Park in Waxahachie is one of the many communities here. Totality will go through Ellis, Hill, Navarro counties here. Johnson County will be doing things as well. That we're going to be pretty much the center of the universe for a little while as this, or at least in our area, as the eclipse passes through our area, and I do plan on being present at Rail Yard Park on that day. So come out and enjoy the eclipse and celebrate my birthday with me, and we'll have a good time. Elizabeth, you're saying strong, I'm guessing you mean strong winds in Rice. Good thing is you're on kind of the back side of this, so yeah, you're getting rid of the heavy rain here, but the gusty winds will be taking over in that area too. I'm just kind of catching up on some notifications that I'm getting here. John Manuel, thank you so much for your Cash App donation there. That is definitely a big help there. Just checking a few other notifications I'm doing here. Okay, cool. All caught up here. All right, so Navarro County looks like this line, and again, kind of what I expected here. I love when things go to plan, right? So I talked about this line that was developing from Kearns over towards Gun Barrel City, towards Canton. Now we're starting to see this line weaken. What we're getting ready to see, right, is another line will develop, and it will kind of recycle this one. So this line, as it gets into Gun Barrel City, Athens, Canton, Grand Saline there, Fairfield, towards Palestine, this will probably weaken a little bit, and then when it gets east of there, it will recycle again. So we'll see that happen. The good news is, again, it'll be east of us by the time that happens, and things are definitely kind of calming down for most of us. Again, continues, though, in Navarro County, but nothing severe here. You see that pink over towards Coolidge. There could be some pea-sized hail mix in here. I don't think the hail, I've had no reports of large hail or or really any reports of hail I've gotten, have been pretty brief. So not any kind of a major issue there. I just want to keep reiterating that the major problem after these storms move through, even as they're moving through, will be the winds. Strong winds today, the strongest winds probably overnight and tomorrow. So just be prepared for that. Bring in the trash cans, bring in the lawn chairs and those kind of things. Secure all those things, secure the trampolines, any of that stuff. Anything that can blow away very likely could if it's not secured over the next several hours here. So we're going to wrap up this stream. Just we continue to have this activity moving through Navarro County. Nothing severe here. Really, things look like they're temporarily kind of weakening here. The strongest of that is in the far northern part of the county, and that looks to be kind of losing some of that intensity too. This will continue to move through Navarro County over the next several minutes, but you'll have patches of heavy rain. You'll have some gusty winds there, but yeah, it does look like Navarro County, things have kind of scaled down a little bit. So just be prepared for a quick shot of heavy rain there. And then, yeah, winds will be picking up quite a bit over the next several hours. So stay tuned to South Metro Weather for updates on that. Excuse me, we'll have more updates on, again, the remainder of the rain here, the strong winds this evening, and then as we get into the rest of the week, we're warming up before very cold air arrives on Friday, another very cold push right around Sunday, Monday, so stay tuned for that as well.